The Last Word with Matt Cooper on Today FM.
We are joined by Ali Selim, Chairman of the Irish Muslim Board. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, tell us, please, about this particular request you've made to the Department of Education.
Well, actually, the request that we've made, we asked for a school uniform that is all-inclusive, that reflects that every student is equally valued and respected. That's all what we asked for.
But if you have a difference in the uniform to everyone else, does that not then, the difference is, it goes against the definition of a uniform?
Well, I tell you, it might be a good idea that uniforms are very expensive, and if we allow all students to go to schools without imposing on them a special uniform, I think that might help us, especially in this very difficult time that we're facing.
OK, Michael Nugent is with us as well, Chair of Atheist Ireland. What do you think of this idea?
Well, I'd be broadly supportive to the extent that everybody's rights should be respected in schools. It's not just uniforms, by the way. We've found that atheists and Ahmadiyya Muslims and evangelical Christians who we work with on secular education not only have to wear uniforms that go against their beliefs, but are sitting down at the back of the class at religion class. Some of them are in fact forced to take ashes, forced to take communion, forced to go to mass. It's extraordinary, some of the discrimination that goes on. So I would be supportive of Ali in that sense.
If you go to a Catholic school, are you not expected to abide by the rules that are of that school?
No, because they are state schools that happen to have a Catholic patron. They still have to respect the rights of everybody there. But it's not just the Catholic schools. The ETB schools, which is Education and Training Boards, which are the old VEC schools, which are supposed to be the alternative to religious schools, they are the same. They also impose religion. And in fact, they're some of the schools that we get some of the most serious complaints about religious discrimination in.
OK, Dr. Ali Selim, tell us what the situation as it is for teenagers in particular at present and teenage Muslim women. What are they not wearing that they would want to wear?
Well, to be honest with you, like you can say almost in 99.9% of our schools here in Ireland, Muslims have no problems whatsoever to be dressed in consistency with their Islamic teaching. However, if you look at the uniform, some of the uniforms that they carry certain Christians that might have religious connotations that maybe not everybody would share the belief thereof. And basically, this is not a call to against Catholicism in schools or so, no, but definitely if the school is Catholic, then the school is Catholic, but allow me to be a Muslim and educated in the same Catholic school simply because the teachers all receive their salaries from the tax paid by everybody living in this country, and hence everybody is entitled to receive quality education in all schools without putting one person or another in a situation where they feel they're left behind or preference or is given to others. Like we have our admission policy here in Ireland, and we all are aware that our admission policy legally gives the right to the Board of Management to give preference on faith grounds, and not only on faith grounds, but also on the fact whether your child is baptised or not baptised.
OK, let me just go through what the difficulty is. I presume this is more a difficulty for girls than it is for boys, is it?
Yes.
OK, so it's things like a lot of girls' schools where they have uniforms have skirts that are above the knee. Is that one of the issues? The fact that the schools may not allow a head veil to be worn?
Well, no, actually, they do allow them to wear headscarf, and as I said to you, like they don't have these problems here in our schools. And again, when it comes to skirts, no, my experience is that most of the schools here in Ireland they have their skirts below knees, and that is a traditional practice. Maybe the schools in the north might have skirts above knees, which might not be very much Islamic.
But do you want them to go as far as the ankles?
Well, I think it has to be something optional if you want them to, if you like. I think when it comes to specifying the school uniform, we have to agree on the colour. We have to agree on, but if somebody wants it to be a little bit below that, I think that should be accommodated. What's wrong with this?
OK, Michael Nugent.
Yeah, Ali, I understand, unless the policy has changed very recently, that in your schools, the two Muslim schools, that it's obligatory for girls to wear wear the hijab in 5th and 6th class. If there was, for example, a member of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community who don't believe that they should have to wear that, wanted to go to your school, would they have to wear that?
Well, I'm not in charge of the school, and if I am in charge of any school, and I am laying out the rules for school uniform, or I will make sure that my system is all inclusive and does not impose anything on others if they don't share the same belief of it.
So the hijab is no longer obligatory then in 5th and 6th class in your schools?
Well, as I said to you, I'm not part of the school. I don't know what they have in their regulations.
Okay, do you think it should be?
Well, it depends on the school, of course. Like if a Muslim child goes to a school and the school has in the regulation that they have to wear hijab and the child is Muslim, then the child has to wear the hijab.
Well, then why can't Catholics do the same thing? Why can't Catholics insist that you don't?
No. I'm saying when the child is Muslim. But if the child is not Catholic and he goes to a Catholic school, do you agree that they have to wear a uniform that has a symbol of something that they do not share the belief in?
No, I agree with you on that. I agree that they shouldn't have to do that. But I think you should apply the same standards to Muslim schools as well.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you that whoever is laying the regulations for school uniform, then they have to take into consideration that their regulations has to be all inclusive, and they should not be imposing something on any student if the student does not share the belief of it,
including the hijab.
Well, I believe I have made it very clear.
No, you haven't. All you have to do is say the words yes, including the hijab.
What I'm saying to you, if a Muslim child goes to a Muslim school, then the child has to wear the hijab.
So not including the hijab then? Okay.
If a child is not Muslim, you can't impose hijab on him.
Okay, listen, Dr. Ali Selim, what sort of response have you had to the Department of Education from your submission?
Well, actually, we have made this submission. You can't imagine, this submission was made last February, a year or more ago, and I don't understand why it is brought up right now. But we submitted this in the time when the Department of Education asked for submissions from various groups in Ireland, but we haven't heard from them.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Ali Selim from the Irish Muslim Board, and Michael Nugent, Chair of Atheist Ireland.
The Last Word with Matt Cooper on Today FM.